So then in high school, I decided that I wanted to start wearing thongs because that was the thing at the time. Like, all the high school girls would wear thongs for whatever fucking reason. But I didn't realize at the time that my butt cheeks are just too... They eat thongs. There's no way to wear a thong without it going, like, right up into my butthole.
But that's what it's supposed to do.
I'm just too bootylicious for thongs. So, and it was about around the time that I realized that I also decided I just wanted to be goth and get rid of all of my fucking blue and purple thongs and stuff. So it's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna stop wearing underwear altogether. And now it's been, oh shit, it's been like 20 years that I've gone without underwear.
You just fucking, like, live commando.
Yeah, pretty much.
Man, like, I do remember that in the fucking 90s when I was in high school. Like, it was like fucking thong city, like, everywhere.
Cisco had that song about it.
Yeah, exactly. And then fucking my friend Jill, like, she used to live with her sister, like, it was just her and her older sister, but she was still in high school, you know, with us. And she would, like, do her laundry, and she didn't want to, like, put the thongs in the dryer because some of them would disappear or they'd get, like, all wrapped up in, like, the little...
That makes sense.
Yeah. So she would, like, just hang them up on the doorknobs at her house, you know, so every single doorknob, there was like 30, 40 fucking thongs, like, all over her house.
Did she have that many doorknobs?
No, there was like 5 or 6, you know, thongs, like, just chilling on each doorknob. And then, like, you know, like on the posts of the kitchen chairs and, like, across the back of the couch, you know.
Oh, I gotcha. So it was more than just on the doorknobs.
Yeah, so anywhere that there was a surface where something could hang, there were thongs hanging on there, like...
They were like Christmas decorations.
Kinda, yeah, but see, like, it wasn't laundry day, wasn't necessarily a consistent thing. It was like, oh god, I got all this laundry, now I don't want to fold it, fuck it, there's just thongs, you know, just chilling. So, you know, we'd get drunk and go over to her house and fucking, like, you know, we would just kind of jump over the couch, you know, and grab random thongs and just start stretching them out and shooting them at each other. So it'd be like, me
using
and
them as ammo.
Yeah, it'd be like me and my brother and, like, you know, a couple of other folks, and we're just like fucking having like an all-out paintball war, but they're just thongs.
But instead of paintballs, it's thongs.
It's just fucking thongs. And she's like, oh my god, what are you doing with all my underwear? And we're just like, fucking, oh my god, this is brutal. You know. We were jackasses.
That actually reminds me of something me and my sister Joey used to do, because we would, like, take our boobs and pretend that they were guns and, like, hold them and, like, shoot each other with them, like, pew, 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 pew. And then, like, okay, but then, like, we would throw bombs at each other.
Oh, no.
And how that worked was we would just, like, run at each other full speed, chest first, and do, like, a big, like, chest bump, and then, like, make big explosion noises, and, like, flail our arms everywhere, like, oh, shit, we just exploded, our titties.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
man,
I miss Joey.
My mom and my aunts, like my dad's little sister and my mom, because, you know, me and my cousin Jack were born around the same time, you know. So they would have, like, breast milk fights. Like, they would sit across the room from each other. You know, we'd be nursing because we were breastfed babies, you know, shit. So they would just, like, shoot each other, like, aim their boobs and just, like, fucking arc fucking, like, breast milk at each other. Just like
real titty guns.
Yeah. And you know, it's like, people are so squeamish about breast milk anyway. It's fucking goofy, but it was just fucking hilarious just to hear my mom and my aunt, you know, just go back and forth, and I'm just kind of like a horrified 13-year-old, like, you did what? It was fucking hilarious. Now that I'm older and, like, you know, fucking 40, like, it's fucking hilarious. But as a 13-year-old hearing this for the first
just
time,
mortifying.
I was horrified.
Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk. Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk. Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk. Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk, Sumo Punk.
This is Matt, and I like my hash browns scattered, smothered, capped, and peppered.
And this is Sabrina, and I like to get 2 orders of hash browns and put steak sauce on one of them and syrup on the other one, and then just kind of, like, eat a bite of each, like, one after the other, like, go back and forth.
Ew.
And
this is Sumo Punks,
the only podcast to exist in the same liminal space as the interior of every Waffle House.
Everyone knows they're different dimensions.
And what do you mean, ew?
That's so nasty. How?
Judge my hash brown ways.
Okay, maybe not the steak sauce, but the syrup.
Why not?
It's nasty.
It's good.
Who are you?
Someone who knows what's good. It's tasty. You like things that combine the flavors of salty and sweet, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so add potatoes into the mix, and that's pretty much what it is. And then with the steak sauce, I've seen people put steak sauce on their hash browns all the time.
Yeah,
there are steak sauce flavored potato chips.
Yeah, but you're switching between syrup and steak sauce like interchangeably, and that's.
Well, I don't want to eat the same thing all the time.
Who are you? So we have an interview today with Eric Huynh of Raijin Sumo from Raleigh, North Carolina. But before we get started with that,
we want to make damn sure that y'all know about all these cool-ass sumo events coming up. First one, Iron Wave Sumo Club's Iron Belly 2, the sequel.
the sequel.
In Orlando, Florida, Saturday, August 6th at noon local time. Just another reminder for you, prizes in this competition will include a bitchin' samurai sword.
There's swords. I am so fucking jealous of the swords. I got heckled by Eric Sykes saying like, oh, look at the teeny tiny list of all the Texas clubs that didn't sign up to go to Florida.
Aww.
I was like, yeah, pay my airfare.
Yeah.
Then I'll go and then get my ass kicked by everyone in Florida.
Come on, now we're Texans. The whole state thinks that raising the minimum wage will resurrect Stalin. Give us the next one.
Gaga Maru, along with the current European champion Amaran Tsakoridze, will be holding a sumo seminar in Pantego, Texas, which is essentially just Arlington.
Yeah.
At the Arlington School of Self-Defense on Sunday, August 28th from 1 to 5, hosted by Dallas Sumo Club and Dark Circle Sumo Club in collaboration with Inside Sport Japan. Gaga Maru finally had his Danpatsuki this past weekend and is now officially retired.
Officially. So he's got all this free time to come to Texas and learn how to get down Texas style.
Oh, hell yeah. The entire Texas Ichiman is just so fucking stoked. Just excited. Excitement pouring out of their pores.
Did Florida get Gagamaru?
They got Soslan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, after that, we have the Consulates Cup at Dreamland in Dripping Springs, Texas, Saturday, September 3rd at 11 a.m. local time. Now, Gagamaru and Amran is going to be at the Consulates Cup as well,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
At least that's what I heard. That's word around a campfire.
Nice.
Then there's the big one, the U.S. Sumo Open at Walter Pyramid in Long Beach, California, Saturday, September 10th at 2 p.m. local time.
After that, we have Beer City Sumo Open at City Built Brewing Company in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Saturday, October 1st at noon local time. And we have confirmed reports that there will be an actual clay dohyo.
Yeah. Man, there needs to be more of them. I think, like, we might have a better chance at the next World Games if we know how to maneuver on clay.
Oh, yeah, just in the U.S. in general.
That's going to be, like, our next fucking big DIY project.
Fuck yeah.
Then, the All-American Sumo Classic at the Mr. America Sports Festival in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Saturday, October 8th at noon local time. That's Dan Kalbfleisch of...
Sumo Dan.
Yeah, Sumo Dan, yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple national sumo champion.
Yeah.
If you have any events that you would like us to tell folks about, send them our way. All of our contact information is at the end of the episode. And it doesn't have to just be limited to the U.S. If there are any international events that you would want us to get the word out, just let us know.
All right, well, that's the events to keep an eye out moving forward in the next few months. As for right now, we have an interview to get to. So here is Eric Huynh with Raijin Sumo Club, Raleigh, North Carolina. Here we go. We have here with us today Eric Huynh from Raijin Sumo Club in Raleigh, North Carolina. How you doing, Eric?
Yo, I'm doing great, and I'm doing amazing now because I'm here on this podcast with you guys.
Awesome.
So,
Now, we had to do this a little later than we had originally scheduled because you
Yeah.
ended up getting sick coming back from the World Games.
yeah, I guess when you're exposed to like a crazy amount of people from different all walks of the world. Essentially, there's gonna be some like spread of sickness. Especially that cafeteria. Cafeteria was amazing. It's all you can eat, and we literally had everybody there. Like all sumo wrestlers was there. Like everybody that was athlete hungry was all there, pretty much. So there's had to be some germs. I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't germs spread around. You know what I mean? So I was sick for like pretty much all that like 5 to 6 day period. So it was pretty gnarly. Yeah.
Okay, so you said that there was a cafeteria. Now this was on the University of Alabama campus, wasn't it? So the university basically just opened up the whole cafeteria to you guys, and it was like all you can eat.
Yeah, man. So like they fed us like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they were so true to it too, man. Because during and sometimes when we would get out of like a tournament about like 10, if we get because they close at 10, so when we get there exactly at 10, they would open the doors up and try to give us as much food as we possibly can, and we could take food back and stuff like that. So it was freaking awesome.
Nice.
Like I had to cut weight. I had to cut weight for the actual tournament, so I was overweight by like. I think like 7 pounds. Horrible. I slacked off like major. So I had to like lose 7 pounds. So I didn't eat that day before the day before the weigh-ins, and also that day at the weigh-ins. So like when I got there, I hand down like 6 burgers, bro. I was like, I was so hungry. I was like eating burgers, eating fries. People were staring at me. I was like,
no, you don't understand.
Like, you don't understand. I was like, it was a sight to see. I'm not gonna lie. Like you can even ask like some of the sumo guys, like sumo people. They were like, Eric, you need to eat. I'm like, I know. I was like, I know. Where's the cafeteria at, yo? I'm hungry.
That's fucking cool though, and they put you guys up in hotel rooms and everything too, right?
So like they put us in like these dorms, right? So I got to I got the honor to like room up with Robert. So that was the first time I met Robert. Freaking amazing guy, bro. Like he is probably the sweetest like guy in the entire world. Like his energy is so beautiful. Like no lie. Like every day we helped out somebody. Like he made it a thing to help out somebody every single day. Like even if we went up the elevator, we were press 1 so it can go all the way down for the next person to like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of them wait, like that little stuff, man. And every Uber person he like overly gave like tip, and he helped them out to make them more money. That guy is a bloody saint. Like, yo, he was awesome. So like when we got to the dorm,
kind of people.
Bro. So like when we got to the dorm, I thought we were gonna be on the bunk beds, and I was like, yo, Robert, man, I'm getting the top one, you're getting the bottom one, dude. There's no way you get the top. And it was actually pretty big. It was like big enough. It had a living room. It had like, like a room for us, like 2 beds. It was pretty nice, man. So they definitely hooked us up. Like big time. It was a great experience.
So like whenever you were in your dorms, was it just kind of like Team USA all in one spot, or they just kind of mix and match y'all?
It definitely mixed and match. So we were like, even with like, we were like with the opponents that we were going to see the next day. Like,
oh shit.
Bro, it was so like, like we were with like Venezuelans and like the Polands and stuff like that. So they were all on our floor, and some of like the Ukraine and stuff like that. Like the heavyweight Ukrainians were there. And like literally we woke up at like, I guess we couldn't sleep because we were so nervous. So we woke up at like 6 a.m. and Robert was just like blared like just like the most US music, like we're like, we are USA. It was just like, and he blared it. And I woke up and I was like, holy shit. And I woke up and I was like, all right, let's just start this day fucking kicking ass. Like,
okay, now I get it. It's all of the nice things that he does is penance for the shit like that, huh?
Bro, we like, he played the music like he played the. I thought he was gonna like kind of low the volume and turn it off when we got out to the hallway. It was blaring. It was like 6:30. We were like blaring music. We are USA. Like, it was like, and then he blared it all the way to the cafeteria. We got to the cafeteria, that music was still popping. Like it was.
Damn.
It was pretty cool, man. It was a big like motivator. I was like, yo, this is gonna be awesome.
I mean, knowing most people that I know in the U.S., being a U.S. citizen myself, it's not surprising that the U.S. team members would pull such antics. But, did any of the other guys from any of the other teams, other countries, try any like
no,
stuff like that? Were they more quiet?
Yeah, they were a little bit more quiet, obviously, because like they're in like a foreign area kind of deal.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, even Robert was saying like we got it made since we had it on home turf. you know, so we understand everything. Like we knew where to go, we knew what time everything was, we knew what bus to get on, stuff like that, because everything's in English, you know what I'm saying? So like these like, you know, sumo wrestlers coming from all the worlds, like they were a little out of their element, you know. So that kind of added a little kind of even playing field because you know, you know, it gave them a little bit more stress, you know, and stuff like that. So it kind of helped out a little bit, but yeah, so they were a little bit more reserved. I know, right? Mentally.
Were there any of the non-US guys, or even any of the non-US ladies that you kind of really hit it off with?
Yeah, so like I actually hit it off with like the Norway chicks. Like they were so
Yeah?
cool. Yeah. It was like after the tournament, and we all were just like sitting there in a waiting room. Like it was like me, Trent, and Robert, and then Rory came as well. And then we were all chilling out there, and we were like, "Let's go get some barbecue, Alabama barbecue, before we bounce," you know. And
Hell
and
yeah.
they were like, "Yeah, let's do that," you know. Like so, it was like it was really cool. And it was funny because like when we were walking, right, they were like, she was so confused. She like looks up at me, she's like, "Americans walk?" And I was like, yeah. I was like, what you mean? She's like, I just thought you guys drove everywhere. And I was like, no. I was like, we're walking to the barbecue joint, yo. And stuff like that. It was funny because like literally like after we hung out with the Norway people, we were hanging out with Helen and them, and we were like, she's like, let's go to the barbecue place. I was like, cool, let's walk. And she's like, walk? Are you serious? No, I'm driving. I'm like, this is why they think that Americans never fucking walk. I was like, because of you. I was like, you want to Uber
God.
everywhere. So it's like, but yeah, they were so nice, man. They're like really nice. Like they're probably the most talkative ones out of like pretty much all everybody that was there. Japan was like pretty much talkative as well. So we got to like hang out the Japanese and like the freaking like the prodigies, man. There's
Nice.
Yeah,
oh my
the
god.
high school Yokozuna.
Oh
like,
man, dude.
Rory and-
Yeah, Hanada, like the guy that won the whole like heavyweight division, pretty much. Like that guy was nasty. Like I remember, like when we was practicing, I was out in the back of the stage. All you hear was like boom, boom, boom. I was like, what the hell was that? And I look, and he's over there, he's just walking. That's how strong that guy was, man. I was like, dude. I was like, I didn't get on this kid's status, man, because you know, but like he was so nice, so cool. Yeah, they were really inviting. I mean, like, you know, the first day is so intense because everybody is trying to figure out who's who. You know, everybody knows we're sumo wrestlers, but they're trying to figure out who's our opponents. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, like from my experience, like that was like my first time ever experiencing or even being on a US team. So it's like that alone was like a great experience. You know, just being around people that are like, that's all they do is sumo, and you know, and oh man. A great experience. That's all I gotta say. It's great experience. So
that's so badass. Did you like learn any like different approaches or new techniques?
Any new moves from those guys?
We didn't get to practice them often because you know, just because like we didn't want to give away some of our technique because yo, when they watch like every single bit of like moves that we do, every single bit of like footwork that we do, they're literally honing in on how we do it pretty much. I was just there to like kind of get the pistons rolling, the shoulders moving and stuff like that, trying to get warmed up, you know, not to try to give away too much, you know, because my bread and butter is like my charging. That's like, you know, that's my go-to and stuff like that. That's what kind of what I go to. So it's like, you know, and plus I haven't been on this dohyo, like, you know, the stadium and never. So, you know, this is gonna be my first time with this clay. So I was worried about that as well. So which came pretty big factor in my like, you know, wrestling. But now I felt it and I understand it. So it's like now I can take this memory and kind of like apply it to like my everyday workout now, because that's like a whole new technique I gotta learn. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That was actually something that I wanted to ask about, because their dohyo was different than like a Grand Sumo dohyo. It had, I'm not sure exactly what it was made out of around the edges, but somebody said it was wood. Was that correct?
So the edges,
it was like more loose on the top, it looked like.
Yeah, so like first I think they built it like too late. So, you know, that takes the building those like dohyo is like, you know, takes like 2 weeks practically, you know, and they literally built that junk in like 2 to 3 days before the tournament. So there was like a lot of crackage in there and stuff like that. So they definitely put a lot of sand on top of it. So that was a huge factor in like how we kind of like moved around with it and stuff like that. You know,
I saw a lot of people like kicking sand out of the way.
That's like probably the smartest thing. That's the smartest thing that, you know, we need to do. We need to understand is that like, you know, since US don't ever get to practice on that kind of stuff, this is probably like our time to like understand that like pushing the sand away is going to help out a lot, for us wise, and stuff like that. And they had a little bit more sand than usual, to be honest. I think it's mainly because it was a lot more like not ready,
Yeah.
so that played a big factor in that.
So I notice whenever you post your Keiko videos and stuff that you guys are like outside. Have you ever practiced like on mats or is it mainly outside that you're used to?
No, so I'm training NC Sumo just a tad bit different than like the conventional sumo people. Like how we normally practice on like mats and like in a room. We're not big enough to get a spot anyways. So I mean that kind of worked out in our favor. So we go to like a park, and this park has like a perfect level ground. And we that gives us like the perfect friction and slide, so it kind of gets us used to it a little bit more, kind of like make our toes nimble. And plus we want to show sumo, so it's like we pick the busiest place that has sports, and and so far it's kind of working. Right now we built our team up to like almost like 6 solid players right now. And I know it's not like Texas, man, but Texas is like, I'm so jealous, man. I watch you guys' lives every single time, you know what I'm saying? Because you guys have so many people, and it's so beautiful. And so I'm trying to like introduce sumo to NC as much as possible. So that's kind of like, that's kind of my thing. And, to going back to like the style that we do, it's like, it's pretty damn hard. So it's not really soft. So when we're doing our hits and when we're doing our slides, we're used to that, almost like that clay packed stadium essentially. So that kind of helped us out as well. So yeah, it's working out pretty good. So hopefully I got two of my main guys going to come to the Texas tournament coming up in September.
Oh hell
The
yeah!
Consulates Cup.
Yeah, the Concert Club. So I know Edinburgh is going. I'm going. I'm taking my buddy Jared to go, and these guys are like our 3 main solid, sumo guys, kind of, because we the longest. So I'm trying to expose them as much as possible to tournaments, so they can kind of get used to it. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be pretty exciting if they're able to go. So I'm definitely going. So Texas is beast mode, so I gotta definitely go on that.
So be in Austin too, and Austin's wild.
And did you hear the news? I think Corey just put it out last night about the sumo symposium with Gagamaru.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
The European champion.
Yeah.
But dude, when I first found out about that, because we've known for a little while, but we had to stay like super quiet about it.
Yeah.
But I was like jumping up and down, like, holy shit, it's fucking Gagamaru. And then when he posted that thing last night on Instagram, I was like, all right, I'm going to put this in my stories. I'm going to put a Lady Gaga song on it. I'm going to let everybody know.
Let's go. Like, hey.
But yeah, it should be super fun.
Yo, that's going to be awesome, man, because, those guys have a firsthand experience on pros. So it's like, if we're able to understand and convey those techniques, kind of, we'll make US team as like a powerhouse,
That's what I would really like to see, is like, a lot more like technique and different training methods, that the pros use, and try to, I probably can't do too much of that hardcore conditioning, but I'm gonna try, damn it.
I mean, that isn't that where it starts though? Being able to like, wanting to do something. Yeah. So like, what I'm saying? Like, that takes like, that separates a person that actually wants a sumo and a person that like, I'm kind of interested in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. When you're able to like actually go out there and like, I want to wear this mawashi, I want to go actually try to sumo stuff out. You know what I mean? That's where sumo is getting bigger, and stuff like that. So we just had a new guy today. Me and Jared was training him and stuff like that. He came out. This guy is freaking beast. He's strong, he's like a wrestler and a rugby player. So like, yeah, man. So that's like a perfect kind of like circle, and he was like charging in, and he's like, it was beautiful, man. This guy Nick, he's gonna be pretty good. A couple more practices, and maybe a little more confidence in like his abilities, and he could probably do a really good tournament. He could do really good. So I'm excited about that.
You said a moment ago that you guys practice in a park, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually something that seems to be becoming more popular with the newer clubs I've noticed. We did an
Yeah.
interview with Oscar Dolan from the New York Sumo Club.
Yep.
They practice out in the park there. There's the Chicago Sumo Club. I had seen that they're practicing in a park there in Chicago as well. What kind of response do you get from people who show up to the park?
It's like,
And I know you go traditional with your mawashi, right?
yeah, so I don't go I, I don't go traditional out in public.
Okay.
I ain't trying to scare people or try, or maybe I try people. I like it depends, right? Like, but to be honest, the goal is to kind of be like a like I said, to kind of like open the doors to kind of like view like people like, oh shit, I've never seen this sport before. What are they doing? It looks like wrestling, but it's not like wrestling. It looks like jujitsu, but it's not like jujitsu. It looks a little different, and like they're not completely butt naked where I can like not look away, I can like stare, and stuff like that. So it kind of opens a little like door in their brains and like, oh, I'm kind of curious. And we're kind of like sly with our like practices. We go to like the university. So we practice at Miller's Park, and that's like on NC State's grounds. And Miller's Park is filled with athletes, from any walks of life, and stuff like that. And even people that just having fun and enjoying themselves to the beautiful weather, they come out and stuff like that. So we go there, we pick like literally the center of the field. Like if we get there first, we pick the center of the field. And people are like, every time we set everything up, we're putting on mawashis and on and stuff like that. And then we get ready, people just stop and they stare. And and it's such a good feeling. A lot of people just come up to say, hey, let's take pictures, or let's can I try this out and stuff like that. So that's kind of like our way of kind of opening up the door and stuff like that. And also, man, like I feel like sumo gets like kind of a bad rep, mainly because people don't want to wear the mawashis. And sadly, the mawashis are white, you know what I mean? So people think it's a bloody diaper. So it's like, people are like, oh, I don't want to wear it because it's a diaper. Nah, dude, it's a legit cloth. It's like a gi. Yeah, it's literally like a gi,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's people just kind of got it. Once they get that out of their brains, and plus wrestling, we wear singlets. We're like the bare naked of the possibility.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying? Like our singlets are like literally skin tight. You see ass, butt, everything. Yeah, exactly. Spandex, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're willing to wear that, then you can wear a freaking mawashi. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Like I said earlier, I had been watching the episode that Grand Sumo Breakdown put out where they had interviewed you, and you had mentioned that you had got your start in folk wrestling.
Yeah.
And you've also done a little bit of Greco-Roman and freestyle. How do you think that has influenced your sumo specifically?
So it helped me understand the body, right? So as a wrestler, I'm not saying that wrestlers are like, stronger or like has a higher advantage than some athletes, but it's like the wrestling mentality itself is hard to explain. A wrestler's mindset is we're just kind of like we're built differently, when we're in the sport of us, we're in a wrestling sport where like it's like less recognition, but we still do it because of the glory and just like it's amazing feeling, and we apply that to sumo. You're creating a whole different kind of athlete, and that's why I think American sumo is going to be like pretty epic. As long as sumo keeps getting bigger and bigger, we're going to have a lot more of these hybrid athletes where they're wrestlers or they're football players. When you combine the charging and you combine the ability to understand your body, you're going to create a whole different species of sumo.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, me being able to like understand like wrestling in a college level helps me out because, man, college wrestling is it's like a job. It's 24/7 for wrestling and stuff like that, So, if you can survive that, then, you can definitely survive sumo, because in Japan, that's how literally sumo is. Yeah. Sumo is like the equivalent to wrestling in America. We breathe wrestling. They breathe sumo pretty much, like they're in a stable, they sleep, they wake up, they eat, they practice, every single day. That's literally wrestling in college for me. Like, so it's not too far apart, and I think that kind of helped me out a lot. And plus, Yama kind of helped me with my form. to, you know, these practices and stuff like that. When I first started sumoing, I just crash coursed in there, and I was like, yo, let me go to this practice. And I was there till nighttime, you know. And Andrew was cool. He was like, I'll stay here, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, I was new to sumo and stuff like that. So I literally stayed there the whole day. And then like the day before the tournament, I was still there again, you know, and stuff like that. Like, yo, you gotta chill out, Eric. You're gonna be really hurt, you know, when it comes time for the tournament. I was like, I gotta put this all in my brain, you know, gotta muscle memory all this stuff, you know, and stuff like that. So I think wrestling 100% helped me out, because without wrestling, I would never understand my body. And in sumo, you gotta understand your body. You gotta trust your body and stuff like that. So, you know, that kind of helps out a lot, you know. So.
So with some of your techniques, do you ever feel like kind of like the way that, you know, people's bodies move, you know, like that you've learned from wrestling, like have you ever been able to apply that like with standing takedowns or anything like that? Because I'm kind of struggling with that. Like,
yeah, so you know, it's tough, right? So like as a wrestler, we always want to like test the mat for our hands, test the mat for our knees and stuff like that. So you can't do that in sumo. So it's almost like a Greco standing game where it's like, you know, upper body and you're moving and stuff like that. My thing is, you know, it really depends on like how you are as a person. Because, you know, you can apply it to your sumo techniques, right? If you're a person that like likes to just burst out, likes to charge out, then, you know, your bread and butter would be the Itachi, and then, you know, you either the pusher, momentum mover, or striker. You know, so if you're a momentum mover, you like to tie up, you know, you like to like switch the angles a bit and stuff like that, go under. You know, wrestling helps you go under, do the underhook. Like if you watch the Ukrainians, if they face a wrestler, it'd be a different story.
yeah,
You know, because like they like to do the dips and they like to do the underarms and the ducks and stuff like that. And they like to literally lift up and like to get the like, you know, leg. Wrestlers, we would literally just like we would literally go down and we just snap our shoulders down and we can block it underarm. You know, that if they would have faced a wrestler, you know, and stuff like that. So it's kind of a different mindset. But you know, our thing is we like to throw, you know, but in wrestling, you have to hit the mat first before your opponent does. You have to have control and stuff like that, you know. We tend to kind of be our double-edged sword sometimes, where we tend to like, oh, I want to fall first. No, wait a minute. In sumo, it's like the opponent gotta fall first, and then you can fall down, you know, and stuff like that.
That's the opposite of what you want to do.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, like, you know, as an individual, you know, I feel like you would be really, you know, you're so tall and long. Well, why not do some thrusting? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I keep telling him.
Dude, like, you know,
my first instinct is just to grapple, and either like trip or throw or something, but like, I just gotta feel like I gotta get my back muscles built up.
He's got these long like monkey arms, and he thinks, oh, I gotta build up these muscles before I can start doing that. Dude, just start doing it, that will build up the muscles.
I do. I tried it on Robert Westbrook one time, and he's like 6'8". He's like way bigger than me. But
yeah.
I did a strike, and I was like, dude, it was just nothing. I just couldn't move him at all.
So,
that guy's a brick wall. I mean,
so like, you know, striking, right? You know, you got your upper body, you got your shoulders and stuff like that. You know, those stuff you definitely need to work on. But you gotta put your position of your hips, right? Your legs. It's like boxing, right? When you're boxing, if you're boxing with your right hand, your right leg has to go forward as well. It has to be essentially attacked. So that's where the most of the power comes from, right? When you're striking, you strike with not only your arm and your shoulders and your hand and stuff like that. You also strike with your legs, your lower body.
Yes,
that's, you know, the strength comes from there and stuff like that. So I mean, like my sumo guys, like, you know, when we're training, you know, I make that a big thing, and that didn't come until I trained with Darius and stuff like that. You know, Darius was the one that kind of taught us the foundation, and we're kind of working off of that. You know, Darius was like a key thing to helping my core out, my foundation wise. You know. You know, he's such a defensive wrestler. So we went over to Ohio and we trained with them. They were just like hitting our foundation. All my guys, like Edibro and Jared, they're all like great athletes. Jared did judo, Edibro did wrestling and jiu-jitsu, you know, so they have the techniques. Now we're understanding that like we have to get the foundation, you know, and stuff like that. And that's kind of what like my guys are like, we're training on that foundation part, which is, you know, helping us out a lot, you know.
Hell yeah. So you're saying that you got to go train with the Ohio sumo guys?
Yeah. me and Darius was like making a schedule, and our schedules were pretty busy. So I was like, I hit him up like months in advance, and I was like, yo, man, I was like, I wonder if you guys can like, I was gonna go by myself, to be honest. Mainly because like I just, my crew was still a little new, so I didn't know if they ever had time to be able to go to Ohio. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I'm trying to have some practice before the Worlds, so I was wondering if I can like go to Ohio and stay with you guys and chill out and stuff like that, if that's cool. And they're like, fuck yeah, man, come on down. And then I asked Edinburgh, and then like Edinburgh's like, oh, I'm down. And then I asked Jared's like, yo, I'm down too. So I was like, let's make like a whole 2 days out of this, train techniques and then training afterwards, and stuff like that. And plus I want to see how you guys do the Ohio tournament as well, Ohio people as well, because they're a lot more experienced and stuff like that. So me and Jared ended up going over there. Edinburgh came like the day that we actually had like a pretty big practice, but me and Jared got there a little early, and then we were rolling around and stuff like that. So that helped out a lot. We just talked about techniques, talked about it was like a it was like a meeting about like the intellectual meetings of sumo practically on that first day. We talked about the basics. Freaking Darius was like scolding me on like why I don't speak too much of like the counting and like the terminology and stuff like that. So I gotta practice that junk now. So yeah, I need to work on that. And then so he kind of was scolding me on that. And then the next day we had like a pretty big practice with the NC and Ohio crew. So yeah, Robert was supposed to come, but I think he like hurt his knee was a little twitchy, so he didn't want to like kind of like overhurt it, and stuff like that. And plus he had like, I think he had to go to Texas as well. So but yeah, that would have been awesome too if he came. But yeah, overall it was like fantastic. They were so accommodating. Everybody there was so nice, man. They're like, we had this like very like family owned motel, and it was like these people there was so nice. They literally stopped us and started talking to us like, what are you guys in town for? And they're like, and I was like, oh, where is Sumo? She's like, and she looks at Jared, my guy. He's like, you don't look like a sumo wrestler, and so like that. Jared's like, I am a sumo wrestler. She's like, that guy right there does. He points at me, and he's like, he kind of look like a sumo wrestler and stuff like that. But yeah, dude. They were talking to us. They were just like asking us about stuff. It was pretty cool. It was like.
Did you get to travel to like any other locations to like train, or did you just mostly train like at home? Or
sadly, I was trying to go to Florida to if I want to get any techniques, if I want to understand the end game battle, it would be Cornelius. Cornelius is like, the end game master. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You be grabbing this guy, going to the edge, thinking that you won. This man bends back over like Gumby, and then like turns out and then like turns and does something, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like Cornelius is like the end game master. If anybody wants to understand like to fight at the very edge of the circle, then you gotta like train with that guy, because he understands it so well, and he's so good at it, and stuff like that. And he's also a wrestler. Not saying that wrestlers are a great athlete, I'm just saying he's a wrestler, stuff like that. But I was gonna go to him, but like our schedules just couldn't match up, and it costs money and stuff like that, and I had filming and stuff like that, so it was trying to balance that and also trying to sumo in practice. I do a lot of like shadow sumoing. Yeah. Like just like shadow boxing, like how boxers do and stuff like that. I do like intensive, like probably like an hour, like 30 to like an hour, like shadow sumoing, and breaking that sweat.
I heard that you practice your tachi by running into trees.
Yeah, so like man, before I met like my crew at NC, man, like I was trying to figure out how do I work on this move that I feel like I'm really good at, stuff like that. And I didn't have anybody else, and like Toby was a little tiny girl, so I can't really hit her and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I was running with my dog one day. It was like during like a hot summer. I was like running with my dog and stuff like that, and we were both dying. I had my when I run like I put a hoodie on, like a toboggan on, sweatpants, and like under armor. Dude, I go hard because I gotta cut this weight. It's just like I'm walking around at least like 260, 265. So, I'm sumoing at 254, so, I'm treating it as like if I was wrestling itself. I think in college, like, I think me and Andrew were talking about it when we were there. I got so used to walking around at like 205. I thought my weight class was at 205. And I was like, dude, yeah, I wrestled at 205. He's like, that's not a weight class. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? I was like, in my head, I'm like, because, I'm walking around in that weight. So that's my actual weight and stuff like that. But, we're like 207, like 297, 197 or, 191, that kind of stuff, Yeah. So it's like we had to lose all that weight to get to that weight class. So I have like some sort of like weight advantage over my people that I face sometimes, Yeah. And that's just a great way to practice, and also kind of mentally makes you stronger. And so like I was like running, right? And then I was like tired and I was like about to die. And then like I landed on this tree, and when I missed, I like shoulder hit the tree. And when I hit the tree, I was like, oh shit. I was like, this feels kind of nice, like, and like, so I was like, man, I might as well just charge at this tree then, stuff like that. So like, I made sure to like kind of pat it down to like be leveled. So like, like I'm on a mat and I just ram it a couple times. I ram it with my hands. I do pushes with it. I hit it as hard as I can with my hands. So I make my palm stronger, and then I just hit it. I hit it a couple times with my shoulders and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I do. So nice. Yeah, it's a pretty cool little. I mean, and a tree doesn't move, unless you're like Hercules, So which
anyone could do. I mean, in most places anyway, there's trees pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're in like Arizona or something, don't do it with like a saguaro.
Yeah. Right. Bro, I know, right? Like, I mean, like it's cheap, right? Because that's your natural like stabilization weight, and stuff like that. Put a padding over it. If you don't want to hit the bark, put a padding over it. I always say, like, if you have access to like a gym bag, perfect thing to do. You could take the gym bag, put it against a wall, and just ram it every single time, and stuff like that. And you have the resistance of the wall and some of the weight of the like punching bag, but also the softness of like the texture of it and stuff like that, so it doesn't hurt your shoulder, hurt your head and stuff like that. So pretty good workout if you guys ever want to do
it. I'm considering it because I need to work on my tachi a lot more. It's I'm trying to get that explosive launch, but I just need to get more like springiness, more force.
Yeah, I mean squats are like your best bet. Before I did sumo, I was just trying to, so like I'm a camera operator in film. So, I was getting fat. I think I was like 330 or something like that away. I was like, I started off in heavyweight division. So like, I think I weighed like 335 at my highest, just out of shapeness, And so I was holding a camera. So I was gimbaling. So like, we would have to hold like this, like, not only is the camera like 15 pounds or so, it doesn't sound much, but then you add on like the gimbal itself, which weighs like up to 50 pounds to 75 pounds. And you're holding with your hands, you're holding like this pretty much, and you're walking with it, So like one day we had to shoot like this music video, and, I was literally going on a boardwalk, the pier, and we were walking, and I'm holding, I'm like, at the very end, I'm like, I was like, holy crap. And I realized like, holy shit, this is actually getting into my actual work, man. I got to start getting fit again, So I started lifting weights again, I started getting fitter and stuff like that. And then like squats are like my bread and butter. Like I love doing squats. My highest I ever squat was like 600 pounds. That was like my highest I ever squatted back in like college. And then, I was trying to get as close to that, as I possibly could. So we did like this like cool, like different style, like Russian workout, which we had to do squats like 3 times a day, pretty much, or 3 times a week, essentially. That's what I meant. And then like, and then we had to hit our plateau. We had to increase our plateau and stuff like that. We had to like, it goes by percentages. It was freaking intense, man. And like, the first day I hurt my back so bad I couldn't even get off the bed for like a week. Like, it was so bad, like, because my body's not used to it, and I was so out of shape. But my brain was like, "Oh, you're a wrestler, bro. You're already fit." My mind was fit, but my body wasn't fit. So it was a rude awakening to like kind of understand my body again. The way I put my feet between my shoulders to do the squat, it was when I was smaller, so my legs were a lot closer in. So that was a big adjustment. I'm not used to this big frame. So, I had to widen my stance a lot more, and I had to get down, and stuff like that. So cutting a long story short, squats are like, I hit up to like 445. That was like my highest max, and I was like, when I did it, I was like, man, I don't think I want to hit 600, man, just because like, what's the point? Like, you get to that point where it's like, it's 600 pounds. Then you gotta go 700. That's too much. That's too much work. I was like, I don't want to die, man. I'm like, I'm in my 30s. I don't want to die. Like, so it's like I just want to get fit. That's the key. So that's kind of what I did. Is like, so if you want a good burst, you gotta get those squats. You gotta get those big old thighs. That's like I love squatting. So that was that's all I did before the tournament happened. Like I had no training, like I said, the sumo, and I was like, I'm gonna take a day to understand the sumo techniques, to understand what not to do. That's the only thing I can do, and stuff like that. And I just let whatever weightlifting workouts that I've done so far to get me to where I need to be and stuff like that. So it's just got to trust in your body, trying to understand your body a lot better, and stuff like that. That's kind of the key, So I mean, like you say you don't have like a charge, you say you don't have a tachi, but like once you get down there and you get your position, just think about it for a little bit, and then it's gonna come. Your form might come. Roy has a nasty ass charge. When he charges, he just brings so much force in his hands, and he just like pushes you. It's like this the strongest freaking force I ever felt in my whole life. When I felt that at Worlds, when he was practicing on me, because like he was practicing on like Trent, and Trent was getting blown away. Trent's a lightweight, bro, so he was getting blown away. So Trent looks at me, I was like, and I was pretty pissed because I lost my match because I slipped, because like I did a nice little hit, and I had him, and like when I stepped to my side, I slipped, and then he just like he capitalized on me and he hit me out.
I remember that.
Yeah, man. So it's like, that's just me needing to understand that like during my time in the clay doho, like it was perfect grip, because by the time that I sumoed, the sand was pushed outwards. Yeah. So I needed to understand that, like, watch out for the edges, because that's going to be extremely slippery, and stuff like that. So now I know, stuff like that. And then my second match at the opening, it was like I slipped in the middle, because I assumed that the middle was like solid, because it was solid last time I was on the doho, but I understand that like after they were done, they swept all the sand in the middle. Yeah. So what I need to do was like get in the middle and just like sweep away the sand as I'm in the middle, so I can get a good stance. So that I need to be mindful of that,
I think a lot of people after their first match, they started to realize that, and you started to see people doing that a lot more.
Yeah.
They got to their second match,
because you don't have a time limit of when you can start. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally take your time, get mentally, do a fucking meditation right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like you can literally take that time and do it. And then all they're gonna scream is, let's go, like spirit, and stuff like that, and like let's go, just for what they're saying practically. You're like, come on, Hakioi, like let's go, and you're still like still meditating. It's like, you can literally take that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's where you kind of gotta understand, like, oh, I can take my time, I can do a false charge if needed be, because they're trained to go off when both hands are hit the clay, Yeah. So better to get a false charge and to like kind of fuck up and start late, and then the person already capitalizes on you and stuff like that. So I mean, going back to like finding your form, you're gonna find it. You just gotta understand your body, your hands, your mind, understand that a little better, than you be golden, man. Like,
and that's what I'm trying to do. Like I just spent so much time just like partying and drinking around and acting like just crazy, and like I just didn't do anything, and then like, now I'm like, man, I want to do something, and then now I'm realizing just how out of touch with the way that my body works that I was.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get that back.
Yeah.
It's starting to come back, and now like I watched the videos of when I first started sumo to like now, and I'm like, okay, I am making some progress,
Yeah.
I just feel like I feel other people's tachi, and it feels like it's gonna like just catapult me across the damn ring, but I want to do that too. Damn
just know that it's just a human being. Like it's just a human being. It's not no superhero. It's not no freaking monster or anything like that. You're as human as a person in front of you right now, and you guys are trying to fight the battle, and stuff like that. Whether he's strong or not strong, as long as you give it your all and no regrets, I think that's like the perfect recipe of like success, I think. So
well, I'm kind of curious, since the World Games, have you had that on your mind a lot, like how your matches went, how you might have done things differently, how you want to do things next time at a different tournament, or even at the next World Games if that happens? Is that something that's been on your mind a lot?
100%. So I'm I am like the worst person to I'm an athlete, you know, so it's like you can literally tell me that, hey, you did fucking good, like, you know, you were there at Worlds, you were with the top level like all-star team, you know what I'm saying, like from each country, you know, and you're going up against them and stuff like that. You're already freaking good, Eric. That's not gonna stop me though, because like, you know, as an athlete, I want to be the best. Like, you know, this is like the most like narcissistic thing that I have in my trait right now. Like, you know, I'm not a normal person. Like, you know, I'm like open as fuck. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to sports, though, I want to be top number one. I want, you know what I mean? I want to win the gold all the time. I don't want to not win the gold. That's like, you know, that's just an athlete for you, you know, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think about the moves that I do, and I think about like the seconds that you know, sumo is a very, very unforgiving sport. You know, you're training for years, you're busting your ass for hours, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, and stuff like that, and you only get like less than 5 to 15 seconds of that beautiful, magnificent, like clay, like masterpiece of a fucking stage. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, that eats me away like heavily, you know. So I understand that, like, you know, these guys train every single day. These guys get paid to do it. You know, these guys literally live and breathe this. I understand that. So you know, US is already fighting at a handicap spot already, you know, and stuff like that. Until this sport gets like recognized by the Olympics or becomes a requirement, you know, where we can like be able to go to like like have camps, you know, where like money's regulated and stuff like that. You know, we'll be able to like have camps with each other and stuff like that. You know, that'd be great for us. But for right now, it's like, man, we're fighting an uphill battle. So we need to like, we need to take as much, you know, understanding of our bodies and practicing with other people as much as possible. You know, money's tough. I mean, especially if gas prices and high and stuff like that, you know, that's why you got to kind of like try to plan ahead, you know.
Yeah.
I'm in film, so it's like that my life story is a timeline schedule, you know. Like I have to plan my day from like 7 a.m. or actually like 4 a.m. to like all the way up to like, you know, 12 a.m. or the next freaking day, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. So we're like, we're always moving stuff like that. But once you understand, like, you know, your flow, yeah, you know, you're gonna be good, you know, unless you know, so it takes time, man. Like, you know, so I'm still learning, you know, like I'm always wanting to learn more, you know, in sumo and stuff like that, you know, like, and I want to get better, you know, like I said, like being on that clay doho now makes me understand that like, that's a whole new technique I got to learn now. How to put my feet, how to put my toes, how to grip the stuff with my toes. The Japan's, man, their toes were like this. It was like literally they were always on grip no matter where they walk. It was so crazy. It's awesome. Like, bro, man, and like when they walk, it's like they're walking like this pretty much. They're gripping every single bit of everything, you know, and stuff like that.
Wild.
It is wild. They're on such
like
different
eagle
level.
talons or something.
Yeah, eagles with toes on them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're that grip, you know. So like they're just a different breed, you know, and stuff like that. So
Just
I mean,
man, I didn't even think about like just gripping with my toes. Damn.
yeah, man. You know, I run like 3 times a day. So I do a morning, I do like a mid, and I do a night. You know, I try to hit at least like 8 to 9 miles a day. And so every morning before the sun comes up, I walk barefooted and I just grip when I walk. You know, that's like my new thing now on like just like building that callus and stuff like that and building on the concrete. That's like the best way to do it, you know. Yeah, you know, and maybe a pebble comes in, you pick that pebble up and throw it with your foot. You know, so like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, but like that's kind of like the stuff that you kind of, you know, if you want to take the sport a little more seriously, if you want to like, you know, we have such a great community in sumo in general. Really? So if you just wanted to do it just to like because you enjoy it, that's a possibility as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's such we're so inviting. I love US sumo so much.
We really do have a good culture in US sumo. Everyone is so inviting and compassionate toward one another and just really fucking great people.
Yeah. I know, right?
Nobody, I have not met a single person that has been like really standoffish or just because, you know, sometimes certain types of athletes will get that sort of attitude.
Yeah.
But not in sumo at all. Not in sumo. Person.
Sumo is like the most like giving sport and the most competitive sport I've ever like witnessed. Like I love wrestling, But man, sumo kind of beats wrestling. Like it's because like wrestling's so intense and it's so like they don't really talk to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? But sumo, man, we talk about moves. We make each other better because we want the better. We want the like the next best challenge in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I was like me and Andrew were talking and I was like Andrew Roden and I was like, yo, bro, I was like, are we gonna make it to the finals so we can have our match, man? You know that kind of mindset. You know, but I want him to do amazing, but I also want to face the best. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we're just so inviting, man. Like, you know,
I build each other up.
Exactly. Like, you know, I noticed that when I went to the first tournament, like after I went to the US opening, I was like, man, I got the sumo bug bite, you know? So I was like, I want to go next tournament. So next tournament was in Ohio. And that's kind of where I met Cornelius and them and stuff like that. Yeah. Like I'm like 14 hours away. So I was going to drive there, sumo that day and sleep in my car, you know, or you know what I'm saying? Like I was going to do that, the actor style life, you know what I'm saying? And then Cornelius was like, he calls me up. He's like, hey, I was like, hello? And he's like, my name's Cornelius. He's like, I heard you were going to sleep in your car. And I was like, I was like, yeah, man, I was just going to go there and sleep in my car. He's like, you're going to be hurt, Eric. You know, he's like, I got an extra bed. Okay. You come on my bed, you know, and then I was like, okay, what's your name again? You know, I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So like,
and you had never talked to him before that?
Bro, never. Like I heard about this guy. I heard about him, but I never like really spoke to him, you know? Yeah. And he was just like, gave me a free freaking room, you know, to get like a night's sleep before the tournament, you know what I'm saying? Like, who does that? Like,
awesome.
You know? Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like just opened the door to like everybody. But yeah, like, you know, that kind of opened the door to like how great sumo was, you know. And I was like, man, I love sumo. Sumo's awesome. Let me stick with this sport. This sport's freaking cool, man.
Well, now that we've talked about all the feel good stuff, you have to ask, at the World Games, backflip gate.
Oh, bro, how intense was that?
Were you there for that? Did you actually witness
I was like front and center, bro. Like, you know, when that happened, like we were all, because like, you know, the cool part about being an athlete in the World Game is that you got access to all these cool stuff. You can literally come to on stage practically and watch sumo like literally like this far apart and stuff like that. So when that backflip happened, I was like, oh shit, look at that backflip. You know, I was like, damn. But then I was like, oh shit, I forgot, man. Like, you know, this is like a very traditional sport, you know, and when they gave you a freaking warning, bro, why would you test them again, man? That's like these guys like that chairman's. My opinion is that like this is like my opinion, right? So when that event happened, they shouldn't have took away his first win. Like as much as intense Egyptians are, like that's how they are. Like when I first had my US opening, it was intense. Like, you know, I beat an Egyptian and they went fucking psycho. Like, you know, it was like they were very intense. They were very like vocal about it and stuff like that, you know. And
there were some Egyptian guys at the Cowboy Cup too, and they were I think intense is a good description.
Yeah, they're cool. They're very nice.
Oh, yeah. Passionate.
It's so sweet. They're very like Kimo, like the heavyweight. Yeah, he's freaking dude. He taught me how to understand my charge. You know, so he literally gave me this crucial information that literally helped me out throughout my whole sumo life. You know what I'm saying? So like,
awesome.
Yeah. So like, you know, they're very passionate about it, but they're just so passionate, you know, and stuff like that. And then when it happened, I was like, man, I can understand what the chance was coming from. But I was like, the chairman was like, man, but he still won. So you should have gave him that win, right? And then he should have like penalized them afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like after everything was said and done, after the whole shebang was over, then they'll penalize them and stuff like that. You know,
that's kind of where I sit on it too.
Yeah. Not like making a tense scene, man. You got the old freaking pro in the back and the coach, man. That guy was nasty, man. Like he took off his shirt and I was like front row and center. I think cops were there. I was like, yo, you guys realize this man specialized in freaking strikes. I was like, so like you guys would not be able to stop this guy. You know what I mean? He's this pro sumo guy, you know, ex-pro sumo. You know, and stuff like that.
Ōsunaarashi.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I didn't know it was him until like he took off his shirt. I was like, oh, hey. Because like I saw him throughout the whole day. You know, I was walking beside him, I was staying next to him. You know, but when he took off his shirt, I was like, hey, I know that guy. I was like, what the heck? I was like, dude, after all that tied down, I was like, yo, can I get a picture? He's like, sure, man. And you got like this nice, cool picture, bro. Like, it was awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you know, sumo is a very traditional, very honored sport, you know. Like, these sumo pros are treated like gods, you know. You don't like, why do you think there's no freaking EMS team at the, like, you know what I mean, when a sumo guy gets hurt? They're considered gods practically, you know. So it's like when they sumo, it's like they're just a battle of the gods. So why they need regular people help? You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff. So it's like, you know, it's all about honor, you know. So I do think that he, you know, when he did backflip, I was like, all right, calm down, bro. You know, at least
he had already been warned.
yeah, you know, what you could have done was do, after walking off, do backflip off the freaking stage. That would have been tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that would have been cool, bro. But you know, I mean, people do their own stuff, and people kind of like, you know. It was great entertaining though. Like,
what was the crowd reaction like? Because I know at one point they started chanting for a rematch, and I wasn't quite sure if they understood what was going on or what was happening there.
So first, this is America, right?
Yeah.
So American people, we're always going to root for the underdog. We're always going to be like, oh yeah. So when they found out about like him losing the match, you know, when the guy was like, oh, this guy wins instead of this guy, they're like, what the hell? Like, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, no, we want the Egyptians. They were like all for it, you know. They wanted Egyptians to win, you know, and stuff like that, you know. But the speaker was so, I forgot her name, but she was such
Katrina Watts.
Yeah, oh my, she was such a well-spoken lady. She explained it so well, you know. She was like, you know, she said it in her accent. She's like, you know, sumo is a very honorable sport. You're not supposed to showboat, you're not supposed to show off and stuff like that, you know, that kind of stuff. So it kind of helped the audience understand it a lot better. Yeah. But I mean, but like I said, America's America, you know, we love the intensity of sports. So we're gonna root for, you know, the guy won, so he deserves a win, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. Yeah. So, but man, like they kind of did the just as dirty afterwards though, because like, you know, they banned him from like the tournament and from the open weight, and they kicked them out of the dorms and stuff like that. No,
that was I thought that was way over the line.
Dude, that was a little harsh. You got
over the top.
Yeah, because they're not Americans, so like you're gonna kick out foreigners, you know what I mean? They gotta go figure out like another spot, you know. That's kind of messed up, you know. They could have just like not let them participate in the opening weight, like, you know, opening tournament. They should have just like let them like stay on campus, eat lunch. You know what I'm saying? Right? That dude, security was so intense afterwards. It was like in order for you to go use a bathroom or go change, you had to show your tag. And sometimes when you're training, you don't have your tag. So it was like I was walking it back, and she was like, "You got your tag?" And I'm like, "For what?" I had my US team shirt on, and she was like, "Oh, you gotta have a tag." I was like, "To go change to compete?" And she was like, I was like, "Because I'm on a world team that's participating in sumo and stuff like that." She was like, "I don't know," but she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." I'm like, you gotta have your tag." And I'm like, all right. So I was like, I'm not gonna just bother me, man. I got a tournament to worry about. So it's like, but yeah, security beefed up because of the Egyptians, which was kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah. Damn.
So have you been keeping up with the Nagoya Basho that's going on right now for pro sumo?
I have a weird way of watching sumo in pro, right? So like I watch it in bulk. So I let it build up. I don't watch anything about sumo. I mean, like I still can listen to like whenever we talk on Discord and stuff like that. I'll peek into what they say sometimes about like certain people and stuff like that, and like Wakataka and stuff like that, you know. So like I'm like, oh, okay, that's fucking cool. I can't wait to watch that shit. You know what I'm saying? So like that's what I usually do. I wait till it like kind of like builds up, and then I spend like a whole couple of days just to watch sumo. And like I watch this. I also kind of watch it with like this channel called Don Don. You guys ever check that out? Yeah. Like what this guy does is like he breaks down like the best techniques of sumo, and then he'll go like inch by inch and like break it down, and I just like sit there and like go watch it.
Oh hell yeah! I watch those every day of the tournament. I watch what is it, like the top 5, and he breaks down their finishing move, and I'm like, man, I gotta try that.
Yeah, dude, like man, some of the stuff he talks about is pretty good, you know. So I was like, this is really beneficial and stuff like that. But
so yeah, you're not following along with it. You don't really know what's been going on.
Oh man, I'm so tempted to ask. It sounds so intense. Oh man, yeah.
Let's just say it's pure pure pandemonium. Like, there have been a few tournaments this year that have been pretty wild. This one is just off the fucking charts. Like, we don't even know how this shit's gonna end.
What? Oh my god.
That gnarly. Yeah.
Jesus. I've been kind of catch up on like, because like, you know, I've been like crazy sick and like I've been away. So I've been trying to catch up with like my shows and stuff like that, trying to watch like I watch a lot of anime, so I'm like I got like a ton of anime I'm watching, and I'm trying to catch up on it and stuff like that. So it's like the tournament's been on my mind, like because I've been seeing stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it because like I'm gonna catch up to it, and now what am I gonna do afterwards? You know, I'm like, oh man, I don't know what else to do. So from what your reactions were, that's I don't think I can wait any longer, to be honest. Like,
dude, it's fucking gnarly. It really is.
Yeah, this shit just gets wild.
You had mentioned Wakataka Kage. Is that one of the guys that you like to follow? Wakataka Kage is one of your favorites.
You know who's my favorite? Ura.
Ura?
Yeah, Ura.
Oh my god,
dude, I
love Ura.
So fucking adorable, man. He does like, and he was like. He does like a little salt throw. He's like
two pieces of salt.
Like, yeah. Like, you know, like, and he's such a, I mean, like, you know, he's a good freaking, he's a good sumo guy, man. Like his arc and his bent over back, like, you know, that's what the Ukrainians do and stuff like that, you know. So he's super
flexible.
He's so flexible for a big, and he's gotten bigger actually. I think he gained a little bit more weight for this tournament and stuff like that. So yeah. So I'm pretty excited to see how he does and stuff like that. But I mean, Wakataka's pretty beast mode too.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, you see that man's neck, man. His shoulder to neck ratio is like Mike Tyson. Like he's this man got no neck. He's so strong on that too.
His like whole body.
Yeah, man. He's like, what you say? Like what?
Like a fucking Sasquatch or something.
So he's pretty cool. Like I like that guy too.
Oh yeah.
You said in your Grand Sumo Breakdown episode that you thought Ishira was one of your favorite Rikishi at the time.
Yeah.
Now with everything that's happened with Ishira,
man. So
do you have any opinions about that?
I don't know, man. Like, man, I don't know. Like I still like him, you know, but like, you know, I kind of want more of him, kind of stuff like that. But I mean, you can't really. I mean,
he's hurt.
Yeah, he's like. I mean, you can't like. I mean, sumo in general is like, you know, they don't get a ton of breaks. They don't get breaks. You know, they push their bodies to like the limit, and they need to be able to like adapt and like, you know. But it's tough when you're carrying that much weight. You know, when you're, you know, doing these like moves and stuff like that. So it's hard on your body and stuff like that. So. You know, give that man some rest or something. Like, sure. I mean, like, think about if Hakuho got rest. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
unstoppable,
bro. He like, you know, he did so well. You know, even when his injuries and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, if he would have got the right amount of like an athlete in America kind of rest, you know what I'm saying? Like football players and stuff like that, their rehabilitation and stuff like that. If he got that kind of stuff, then that man would still be sumoing, dude. Like, you know, like he'd be like, you know, it'd be a beast mode, you know, and stuff like that. So I mean, sumo's a tough sport, you know.
It really is.
Yeah, it really kind of pisses me off, to be honest, what's happened with Ishira, because he was one of my favorite guys as well. And then when what's his dick made that stupid comment about
right?
How did it go? It
was something like he took too long to stand up, and it's gonna like make the audience members cold. We need to make sure that the audience is always hot or something like that.
What the fuck, dude? And then like that's one thing I will never understand about the JSA is why they don't take injuries more seriously, for one, and why they are willing to essentially just destroy someone's career when they get injured, you know? Because this is like these guys' entire life. This is all that they do. Yeah. If they get injured enough to where they drop down to a point where they're not making a salary anymore, that's pretty... I mean, again, in my opinion, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, like, you know, there's even like the dark world of sumo, you know, stuff like that, where it's like a lot of these guys, when they come out of pro, like what else are they going to do? They dedicate their life to the stable. You know, some of them bounce back by making restaurants, you know, because, you know, some of them were cooks, some of them would like make chakanabe and stuff like that, you know, but others don't bounce back. You know, some of them still have bad injuries and stuff like that. It's a system that like definitely should like change, The hard part about Japan sumo is that, like, I mean, they're still kind of still they're still kind of traditional, still kind of closed off essentially, to foreigners and stuff like that. You know, I feel like if a lot more foreigners come in, you start to shape a sport, So like, a little bit more Americans can come in and stuff like that, a little more other like Ukrainians, Georgians, it's those, if it starts to be saturated with different types of cultures, maybe it'll get a little more lenient. They maybe become a like, a sport like football or something like that. But I mean, because like it's practically built in their government system anyways, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why not? You can get funds for it. You can get these guys to rest. You can afford that. But it might just be like they're so traditional, and stuff like that.
It's kind of just unwilling to change.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's such because like you gotta look at like the higher ups, they're so old, they're so old traditional and stuff like that. You don't
I
see
say
any
that all the time.
you don't see any younger people in there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I say young, I mean like 40-some-year-olds, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. So it's like, they're very traditional. And like I said, it also probably stems from like them seeing sumos as like gods, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
it's a huge part of the Japanese culture, like
Yeah.
a very integral part of the culture. So outside influence is kind of side-eyed a lot, because it's not the Japanese way of doing it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you can't really say anything about that because they have a right to decide how they want to run things. It's their country, it's their national sport, It's just looking at it from outside, I really feel for these guys sometimes,
I know.
It's like, oh man, I wanted to see him do good.
Yeah. Unless you're like a Hakuho, and you're able to like get a stable without any like stock and stuff like that. You know what I mean? He like invested in like crypto. He invested in like, that, stocks, you know what I'm saying? So, he was pretty intelligent about that. If that kind of concept can get spread throughout the sumo world, maybe they'll be able to like, maybe a lot more successful stories, and stuff like that.
And that's one thing Hakuho had said, I think, was he wanted to start putting more modern sports medicine and stuff into sumo. So.
Yeah. Kiseno Sato said that too, because I think now he's the Nishanoseki Oyakata. But that was one of the things that he wanted to do, and they just built like his new stable. It's kind of out in the country, So, but he wanted to like actually start serving breakfast. So like they don't eat breakfast traditionally, but he was like, no, if they want to eat breakfast, we're gonna have breakfast, So I was like, well, yeah. So I feel like he's kind of like pushing at least his stable, and more into the modern era. And I'm really curious to see what Hakuho does too.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I think that like also, these people that care about sumo, like they train tradition and stuff like that, building able to like build these stables and stuff like that, able to like sumo had a bad rep, with all the like hazing and stuff like that, and all that mess, and the like just like the animosity towards, that's kind of how wrestling was, it's a very like harsh athlete world, and so it's like now maybe like it's getting a lot better, maybe it's slowly opening doors, maybe people aren't getting as much abuse, and stuff like that. Maybe it takes time and stuff like that. So, but I think it's going in the right direction, hopefully it's going in the right direction at least.
Me too.
And I'm hoping with these new guys who are just, starting up their own stables and training up their new rikishi and seeing how they perform and what they're going to be capable of is really what's going to change people's minds about that and let them see that it can be done a different way. So, besides that, we do have to wrap up the show now. I think we've been on here for almost 2 hours.
Oh, really? Oh my god, dude! Really? It hasn't. It doesn't feel even that long, to be honest.
I know. It's like 45 minutes.
Jeez.
I have a couple of questions to end with. First question is, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out doing sumo?
Got you. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that like, just kind of do it, just be able to be open-minded and be able to want it, be able to like experience the sport as a community, but also physically, if you're open to that, then you're golden. You can survive in sumo. So, I mean, sumo is a great place to be at, so I think it should be open to a lot more people and stuff like that. So
So the next question is kind of a two-part question. I meant to ask the first part earlier, but
Yeah.
are you like the coach of Raijin, or do you co-coach with someone
Yeah,
else?
so it's kind of like a code, to be honest. It's like, the way we train is, I would say I have more experience in the aspect of tournaments wise, you know what I'm saying? But like in the aspect of sumo wise, both my guys, Jared's been a great help, and also be able to take over when I'm not there, when I'm out filming, so that he'll have practice. He's able to like teach people in the right direction from what we learned from like other practices like Darius and stuff like that, and like Edinburgh, as quiet as that guy is, like he still puts his input in, whenever it needs to be, and it's always like a good thing to have, so being able to like have these guys that have the passion about sumo also kind of keeps me grounded, because like I'm like, oh shit, I can learn this. I was like, oh man, you can teach me this. That guy cuts up, hey Eric, you had your arm too high, stuff like that. How about try doing this? How about try closing your arm and stuff like that? That little stuff. So we're all learning from each other, to be honest. So like it's kind of like, if we can teach each other new stuff, then we're kind of like all be able to learn this stuff. So
So
I'm
it's
just
pretty
I was the one that just got it
non-hierarchical.
started. No, yeah, it's definitely not hierarchical.
Yeah.
Like, like I started it, but it's like it's kind of become more into a group. Raijin Sumo, the name itself was from Edinburgh. Like after we got done the Northern Championships, like he texted me, he's like, "Yo, let's make it like the Thunder God. And I was like, "Yo, Thunder God sounds fucking tight." I was like, and he sent me a picture. He's like, Raijin is the God's name. I was like, Raijin Sumo. I was like, yeah, dude. Let me hit up my brother. Let him to draw out the, like. So I literally took Hakuho and I took the God of Raijin, and I was like, yo, brother, can you put these two people together and make a sumo guy? And he's like, yeah, I can try. And that's how we got our logo and stuff
Hell
like
yeah.
It looks really sweet.
that. I
It
appreciate
does.
that. Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to like. I think like some of the texts suggest like some other styles as well. So by the time when the tournament comes, I'll have a couple of shirts, so we
hell
can
yeah.
you guys can kind of choose
You
from
know
and stuff
what,
like
black
that.
ones?
Yeah, yeah, like yeah. I'll try to have a mixed variety, and like I think like Elizabeth was talking about like the retro one that the one I posted first was like the retro sumo, so I might have that out and see like see if you guys can have it and stuff like that, because sumo shirts are freaking awesome.
I've
Yes.
started a collection myself.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, like I know, it's like because like I got the Team USA shirt, and like I wish I would have traded the Japanese. Like I would have had like Team Japan. That would have been awesome, dude.
Oh hell yeah.
Angel got some good stuff. He got some good stuff from other people as well. He got the, like this small female shirt. I was like, when are you gonna have time to wear that, Angel? Like, you can't even fit it, bro.
Just frame it.
Yeah,
Hang it up on the wall.
he's like, I'll fit it, Eric. I'm like, sure. I was like, all right. I was like,
Well, that kind of brings me to my last question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own sumo club?
oh man, dude, you can do it by yourself, but that's kind of lonely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So try to like, do it as a team, because like when you're building a sumo club, it's all a team effort. I mean, like I said, we're a sportive community, so it's like I want to be here. Raijin Sumo want to be here without Edinburgh, without like if Edinburgh didn't go to LA to go meet Andrew, and Andrew recommending me to Edinburgh, he would have never met me, stuff like that. If I would have never posted on Reddit, like, hey, is there any NC sumo out there? I would have never met Jared. I just say that like if you want to start a club, and if you want to have like a family community, then you can. Anybody can start it, but just don't do it alone. Do it for community. It's so much easier that way. You know what I'm saying? Like it builds a lot better. We meet new people. Like right now, like we got like 2 new guys. It doesn't seem much like Texas. I'm just saying, but for NC, these guys are cool. Like the guy named Matthew, like Matt, and then the other guy, the new guy today was named Nick. Like these guys are like they're interested in sumo. And Nick's watching. Apparently, he watched sumo for like over 8 years. So he's finally getting a sumo. That means a lot. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Matt just hardcore jiu-jitsu, but he was like he saw sumo and he just fell in love with it, and stuff like that. So it's like these guys are all different from walk all like life itself, so I don't know. I just if you want to build a club, do it with people. Don't do it by yourself because it's lonely.
All right, so you're going to the Consulates Cup, or are you?
Yeah, so like if everything aligns correctly, like constellation wise, if it aligns like all like in singularity with filming, I'm hoping I'll be able to go. I got some free flight mileage, so I was gonna fly there.
Nice.
I may need to crash with some people, but like once that gets a little closer, I'll start hitting up names. but like, I mean, I think I'm gonna try to stay to like Sunday. Hang out Sunday, then go back and film, and then travel to the U.S. opening because
Nice.
like I said, I'm a very like. I want to win a medal, but I want to also get first. So my goal is to get first at both tournaments. As cocky as it sounds, I don't mean it to sound cocky. I just want to be able to like prove to myself that I've grown as an individual, that kind of stuff. So, I'm going in there. So I want to be able to like expose myself to as much tournaments as possible. I'm also going to like the Norway tournament as well in November.
Shit.
Yeah. I want international experience. So, competing at Worlds, seeing these foreigners like sumo and like how much they can offer, I feel like I could learn a lot from them and stuff like that. So why not go to a tournament and try to win that whole tournament, in the country? You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll record myself. People's been asking for me to like record my pathway, but man, I don't know if I look good on camera or anything like that, but
Matter.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, I should do that. Yeah. But yeah, that's like the kind of like the future goals right now. It's filming aligns right, so
Nice.
Fuck yes, you should maybe get together with Corey because that's like his day job too.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I didn't know.
He does photography and video and like all kinds of shit like that. Why do you think that the Dallas Sumo Club?
That is true. They do got some good editing skills, bro. I was looking at him, I was like,
Corey.
there's some pretty good editing skills, man. I was like, a little tweaking there, they can do some pretty fucking awesome stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, man, maybe we can start doing some collaborations and stuff like that. Like that. That's something like Grand Sumo like was talking about. Like, if we're able to like kind of make like filming and like add that to like the social network, maybe that'll help grow sumo a lot more, stuff like that. So
and that's one of the number one goals of this podcast is to help grow sumo in the US and hopefully just like in North America in general.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I mean, like, with our community, I don't, why not? It just makes sense, right? It's like, what I'm saying? Like, we're so inviting. Why not make it bigger? Like, I don't understand.
Exactly.
Like,
all right, Eric. Thank you so much. This has been rad as fuck.
Bro, it's been awesome.
See you at the Consulates Cup. That's gonna be even more rad. Yeah. You take care of yourself. Drink lots of water.
100%. I definitely drink a lot more water. But yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for giving me this chance, man. I'll see you guys soon, right?
Man, I learned so much talking to Eric.
I did too.
It was nice getting like an insider's view of the World Games to really know what it felt like to be there,
and how everything like went down. It was really cool to just kind of like, because we saw the live stream, we talked to folks that had been there, but he just kind of like made it all come to life.
Yeah, like
it was
really
awesome.
broke it down for us. And like, he's just got this great energy and he really does know his stuff and is just a fucking great guy.
And he fucking loves sumo.
Yes.
You could just tell. That's what I love that about him.
But there's something else I do want to know. What are you listening to during sumo practice today?
Oh, damn. All right, so there's this online tape distributor called Speed Creamer.
Oh, Speed Creamer!
Speed Creamer cassettes.
That's like the weirdest, grossest, coolest name for a record label.
Yeah, they're from San Diego, I think, and they put out some of the best shit that I've heard like in the past like few years. Like, has mostly been some Speed Creamer shit. Always stoked whenever they have new releases, but this one in particular, this is All Beat Up and Rival Squad split tape. It is 10 minutes of just sonic abrasion. All Beat Up is a few dudes that play some like politically charged, like just in your face hardcore. It just kind of makes you want to like jump around and off your couch and kick things, and it's great. I fucking love it. It's very energetic.
Tachi the fuck out of people.
Rival Squad is more of like a stripped down kind of like raw punk. There's a little bit of D beat in there, a little slight twinge of street punk maybe, but not really. I would say more D beat, but it's Spanish language.
Oh
yeah, and lady vocalist that is just sounds like her throat is just like fucking covered in nails and razor blades. It's just such a angry fucking voice.
Nice.
But yes, Rival Squad and All Beat Up split tape. on Speed Creamer. You could actually find it on Bandcamp, and it's one of those name your price. So if you just wanted to, you know, show those guys some support, because it is really
Toss them
fucking
a dollar.
badass. Yeah. And if you're like me and a total fucking nerd and you have a cassette player, then you should get this tape, because it is fucking badass. Less than 10 minutes long, 3 songs on each side, fucking worth it. I think it was like $5 for the tape. So.
All right, I think that's our show. You guys know where to find us. We're all over the social media. Sumo Punks, spelled with an X.
And we are also on Twitter as Punk Sumo, because
I fucked up the Twitter.
there's lots of really cool fucking folks on Twitter, and I really love...
Oh yeah, we just started talking to the Midnight Sumo folks.
Yo, all the Midnight Sumo folks. I love that. I think we found our people.
Yeah, definitely. You can also email us. That is sumopunks@gmail.com. We also have a Redbubble shop. And I know I say this every episode, but I am putting up a new design this week.
It's going to be fucking cool.
It's happening.
Very stoked.
I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Until next time.
Bye.